So here is how you're going to do the math to figure out the serving size of your zinc gummy vitamins. Okay, you want to label everything really clearly because this is going to go into your patent application. So pick a new page in your notebook, title it Serving Size Calculations for Zinc Gummy Vitamins. This is going to be a 3-step process. The first step is to determine the amount of beet powder in each of your gummies. And just for convenience, I'm going to abbreviate beet powder BP. Okay? So the first thing you want to do is look at your total recipe amounts. So in your original total recipe, you put some number of grams of beet powder and some number of grams of agar and some number of grams of sugar probably, and some number of milliliters, which is equivalent to grams, of water. So remember that for water, the number of milliliters is equal to the number of grams. Okay, you're going to add all those up and get some number of grams of total. There, that's your total mass of your full mixture. Then that's going to allow you to find the total recipe ratio for the beet powder. So basically what you do is you take your number of grams of beet powder, which is the same as this number here, in your original total recipe, and you divide it by the number of grams total that you just calculated. Right, so that's this number here, and that's going to give you some sort of ratio, right? So some sort of number here. That's going to be a useful number in just a moment. Then you want to find the mass of one gummy. Okay? So find a single gummy, measure the mass. Okay, so that's from your balance. And then you can use those two numbers to find the mass of beet powder in one gummy. You basically take this is your mass of one gummy, and you multiply it by your ratio. Right, and that's this number here. Okay, and that should get you some number of grams of beet powder per gummy. All right, this is the number you will then be using later on. All right, so step 2 here will be to determine the amount of zinc per gummy. We're going to need to do a little bit of research to figure this out. You can look this up on the USDA, okay? And then we'll need to do a little bit of math to determine the amount of zinc in beet powder, okay? So this would be the web page. This is the Food Data Central web page, part of the USDA. So it's fdc.nal.usda.gov. You can also just look up Food Data Central in Google, okay? And then you're going to search here for instance, beets. All right, and we get this whole long list. You want to look at the type and pick something that is not branded. So usually either the survey or the SR legacy types are going to be best. So we're going to pick beet juice because that's the option closest to beet powder, right? It's just beet powder and water to analyze those results. Okay, so here we are at beet juice. Okay, so for 100 grams of beet juice, 92.45 grams of that is going to be water. Okay, and in the remainder, you'll also have 0.21 milligrams of zinc. Okay, so that requires you to do a little bit of math to remove the water and figure out what proportion of the rest of it would be zinc. All right, so let's do a real quick bit of math here together about how to figure out how much zinc is in beet powder. Okay, so we're going to look at beet juice, okay, because that's, the liquid form of beet powder essentially. So I'm just going to transfer some information over from the web page. So beet juice is basically 92.45 grams of water per 100 grams of juice, mostly water. Okay, and that's 0.21 grams of zinc per 100 grams of juice as well. But of course, you're not looking at beet juice. You are looking at beet powder, which is basically beet juice with all of the water removed. So what you want to think about is, this is the amount of zinc per 100 grams of juice, right? But if you remove all the water from the juice, so beet powder, it's a pretty efficient process. So we'll take 100 grams juice minus 92.45 grams water, which leaves you with some number of grams of powder. Okay, so that would be 7.55 grams of powder. Okay, beet powder. All right, but the same amount of zinc applies. Zinc does not get removed when you remove the water. So for every 7.55 grams of beet powder, you have 0.21 grams of zinc. So we can do a little ratio here. 0.21 grams of zinc. Sorry, that's milligrams, just to be clear. It should be milligrams. Over 7.55 grams of beet powder is going to equal 0.028 milligrams of zinc per gram of beet powder. And then this is what you're going to use in your own calculations. Okay, so that is the ratio of zinc to beet powder that will be helpful for your math. All right, so what we came up with from our research and from our math was basically that there's 0.028 milligrams of zinc per gram of beet powder. Okay. So basically you can use that to figure out your amount of zinc per gummy, right? So amount of zinc per gummy right, is basically going to be your mass of beet powder per gummy. Right, and this was from section 1 that you just calculated. Okay, times 0.028 milligrams of zinc per gram of beet powder. You'll notice these cancel out, and so you'll be left with some number of milligrams of zinc per gummy. Okay, this is what you'll use in part 3 to calculate the serving size. Oops, sorry, here we go. Here's the full thing. And last but not least, okay, step 3, you're going to find the serving size of gummy vitamins with respect to zinc. Okay, so again, you're going to need to use the internet and do some research. You want to find the RDA, the recommended daily amount or allowance of zinc for adults. And I would average men and women, right? You'll get some number of milligrams or micrograms of zinc would be 100% of the recommended daily amount. Okay? So the question here, your real question here, is how many gummies must your customers eat each day to get 100% of their recommended daily amount? And that's your serving size. So basically what you do is you take the RDA that you looked up. So you need your RDA, which is some number of milligrams of zinc per day. And you're going to divide it by the number of milligrams of zinc per gummy. And that's going to give you the number of gummies per day to get 100% RDA of zinc. Okay, and that leaves you with your serving size. So that same number is your serving size, so it would be some number of gummies. Do not panic if that number is extremely high. That's part of the point of this project, okay? So do not worry about that. This is then what you will photograph or scan and include as your calculations in the appendix of your patent application. Okay, and this number, the serving size, is going to be your technical specifications in that patent application.